In this course, we're going to learn Python 3. This is a course for beginners who have never learned Python or any other programming language. No prior knowledge is required. The course will guide you through all the steps of learning the language. In this course, we'll be learning just the basics of the language. This should get you started. In this course, we'll be using Python 3. So, if you have any experience with Python 2, you should be aware that there are differences that make the two versions incompatible. This means code written in Python 2 in most cases won't run in Python 3. So if you have Python 2 installed, make sure to install Python 3 so that you can follow this course. It's advisable to go along with the course. The pace is quite fast, so if necessary, feel free to pause the video, think about what you just learned, and watch the video again. Try to write all the code by hand, and this way you'll get the first practice. Most of the lectures are accompanied by projects that you are supposed to do. Truth is, these projects are the crucial part of this course because it's in these projects that you have to apply your theoretical knowledge to solve simple practical problems. So, by any means, don't skip any of the projects. The course contains 80 lectures and 70 projects, so you have plenty of opportunity to practice. Also, at the end of each section, there's a quiz. It contains both theoretical and practical questions. Make sure you can answer most of the questions before moving on to the next section. Now, how to use this course? Well, I suggest you follow the following steps. 1. Watch the video once or a couple of times to get familiar with the topic. 2. Try to do the project. If it's too hard, look at the solution and analyze it step by step so that you understand what's going on. Then you can try to do the project on your own. The projects for the whole course are available for download in the Downloadable Resources section in Lecture 1. Download the zip folder and unzip it. You can open the project files in any Python editor or IDE. Here's our curriculum. The course consists of 11 sections. Section 1. Introduction. In this section, you'll experience your first contact with Python. You'll install Python itself and a working environment. You will also get familiar with some basic terminology like input and output, variables, statements, conditional statements, or loops. At the end of this section, we'll make a short introduction to data types and operators. Section 2. Numbers. In this section, we'll start our discussion of data types in Python. In this section, we'll be talking about numeric data types, but also about arithmetic operators, mathematical functions, assignment operators, and random numbers. Section 3. Strings. In this section, we'll be talking about strings, which are used to work with text. We'll learn the basic operations on strings and string methods. Also, we'll see how to format strings. Section 4. Lists and other sequences. In this section, we'll be talking about lists, which are a very flexible data type that we can use to work with collections. We'll learn the basic operations on lists and list methods. We'll learn how to copy lists. Besides lists, we'll also discuss tuples and ranges in this section. Section 5. Other data types and operators. In this section, we'll cover all the other basic data types like dictionaries, sets, and booleans. We'll also discuss logical and identity operators, data type conversions, and operator precedence. Section 6. Flow control. In this section, we'll be talking about conditional statements, the ternary if statement, loops, and list comprehensions. Section 7. Functions. In this section, we'll be talking about functions, about all the different types of parameters they can take, but also about scope and lambda expressions. Section 8. Object-oriented programming. In this section, we'll talk about the object-oriented approach. We'll discuss classes, objects, encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism, properties, all the different types of attributes and methods, and tons of other stuff. Section 9. Modules. In this section, we'll talk about modules. We'll learn how to import modules and how to create our own ones. Section 10, Files. In this section, we'll learn how to work with files in Python. In particular, we'll learn how to read from files and how to write or append to them. We'll also discuss context managers. Section 11, Exceptions. In this final section, we'll talk about errors and exceptions. We'll learn how to handle exceptions in a graceful way. And now let's get to work.